Hello, this isn't final, but this is my current TI4 Prophecy of Kings storage solution. I went with an obvious departure. I gave up on the box because I know I've got a bunch of extra stuff that I was going to need something extra to store it all anyway. And my Prophecy of Kings set travels enough that I'm like, I need a travel solution. So, here you go. It's a rolling toolbox, and it's got a bunch of stuff in it. So let's take a quick look through it. Again, not everything in here is finalized because I'm still developing it, and I know there are a couple of things that I know are not correct yet, but will be soon. A little bit of blue tack, just because a little bit of poster putty comes in handy sometimes for tacking something down somewhere. It's just one of my little known gamer secret tools that I always keep around because it's useful. Some markers. I got to use these to. I've got them in here because I keep forgetting because I'm going to color the outside edges of my hexes. Blue for systems, green for home systems, red for anomalies, and I may go black on the warp zones. Or I'll go black on just the regular systems and maybe blue on the warp zones. I haven't decided yet, but that's easy mode. Inside here, again, this isn't finalized, but components, player mats, books. These will eventually be going into folders with the punches in them, and I'll also include in each copy a set of the living rules reference and some additional player aids, a turn order player aid that I've got that I like that I'm going to adapt for PoK that not only tells you when things happen, but also has little annotations in it for when the effects of different technologies kick off. Because especially for new players, they always forget when techs happen. So this gives them a clue. Oh, hey, I have that tech. It might impact this step in the turn order. So that's cool. Player faction boxes on spec for all the different ships, set of dice for each player. I use an upgraded set of trade goods. These are just plastic crystals that we use. I find there's something visceral and very primal about actually having a big pile of gems to hoard over and spend on things. And when you go to make a trade with somebody, you physically trade gems with them. The short-term homebrew adaptation for that is because it means we don't have commodities. Is that if you were ever holding a gem in your hand and it is your color, you consider it a commodity. If the gem is not your color, you consider it a trade good. And we have neutral colored trade goods for when some game effect tells you to just gain trade goods, like the trade strategy card, for example. So that works real well. Mechs, ground forces, carriers and fighters, PDS and space stocks, dreads, flagship and war suns, cruisers, dreadnoughts. Like I said, works pretty well. And the lids on these boxes I've modified so that you can easily remove them, and so that way they're not flipped up in your way when you're actually trying to play. Turn timer. This one's set for an hour. They make a longer one, and I might actually have to get it for Prophecy of Kings because I've noticed that the turns are much longer. What this does is it just gives everybody an indicator that time is passing and how much time has passed since you started the round. And you can have it silent where it just doesn't do anything when it runs out, or you can have it chime a little chime when it hits the end. But I find a lot, and TI4, especially Prophecy of Kings, keeping aware of the passage of time is very important, and this does it in a way that is non-punitive and just helps people to remember, hey, time is passing, we gotta keep things moving. Somewhere in here, I also have a little 2-minute egg timer This just sits on Mechatol Rex, and if people are arguing about something or trying to work a deal and they're taking forever, anybody can just reach out and kind of flip it over, and it's our little formally passive-aggressive way to say, hey, time is passing, let's keep moving. Anybody can flip it. Again, no penalty if it runs out. It just says, hey, you guys, let's keep things moving. Without having to whine about it, you just kind of quietly go out and flip it, and you're not verbally harassing them or complaining. You're just saying, hey, let's keep things moving. So that finishes out this box. It's mostly faction components, all neatly organized, and some extra little tools and things for setting things up. Next layer is primarily board stuff. I have my fleet stands. Again, I'm not totally happy with the solution here for the hexes. I'm going to work on improving that. I don't like them just kind of flopping around in here. I'm going to find something to some foam core or something to organize this a little better. But hexes go in here. Plastic frame. When I bought it originally, the guy who made it was also selling additional pieces for the believed to be eventual, this is Fantasy Flight, and eventually you would go to an 8-player ring. So I've got the pieces to go to the 8-player ring here as well. But I've got all the different faces for all the different map styles. And then fleet stands that I made myself with a hole cutter and a jig and some flat head machine screws and just some lock nut washers and some normal washers so you can take it apart if you need to. But I don't typically have to because I got enough space for everything. I don't have to take them apart every time. But then, this is the board that sits under the table at my feet where I can get it fleet stands or whatever handy, and most of it is just stuff that goes to set up on the table. I may rearrange that a little bit to make this more of just a utility tray of stuff that I want to keep handy during the game, but I haven't figured out exactly how I want to do that yet. So this box has all the cards in it. Exploration cards, action deck, secrets, objectives, all that stuff, agendas, exploration cards. It's all in here. Planet cards. Again, this is not a permanent solution. I got to find something that I like better than this box. Mini American cards are an odd card size to try and find boxes for. But they're all in here for the moment. And it's one big mess. And eventually I'll fix that. Fortunately, they're not actually that terrible to sort. And then down here is everything else that you might need. I've got these are the Pro clear boxes. I got them in the 50 card size as opposed to the 25 card size. Or 25 card size. A lot of people like the 25 card size, because it fits everything. But I know that some of these factions have more components, and I was worried about the 25 card size fitting real well. And I obviously have the space, so I wasn't worried about having something slightly bigger. So I went with a slightly bigger card, and I don't have any issues with it. But one card for every faction. These are the neutral trade goods. Nice glossy shiny gold nuggets. If I can get it where it's not shining crazy in the light. Who wouldn't like to have a fistful of these in their hand when they're going to work a deal, Infantry tokens. And typically it will just split it in half, split the two lid in half, and just put an assortment in both sides of the case, and you can put one at one end of the table, one at the other. Fighter tokens, strategy cards, speaker token, Mechatol Rex. This is all stuff that would go out on the table in the beginning. I probably could move it to the other box there where it's all the setup stuff that you need to set up the board. Some of this other stuff probably can move over there too. The old trade goods, still keep them because you never know, you might need them, might run low, whatever. And then these are all the extra tokens that you need for everything that happens on the map during the game. Exploration tokens, the little planetary modifiers, gammas. Everything else is mixed out into their faction boxes along with everything else. So, but there you go. It's a very non-standard departure from the usual, and thought you guys might like to see it. The other thing that I use quite frequently, and I don't have it in arm's reach, is I have a large round Lazy Susan that I'll use that is just big enough to hold the map, and we'll throw that out in the center of the table just because it saves people if they're doing stuff on the far side of the map from having to bend over the table as far, and it's a great thing. So, alrighty, any other questions? Feel free to hit me up on the Discord, Philroy, and you'll see me post this, and we'll go from there. Talk to you later. Bye.